Hello, this is Julius from Basic Financials. This is a sort of second part of a two-part video this one's to do with lifetime ISAs. The last one was to do with help to buy ISAs. So I'm going to mainly talk about lifetime ISAs today, but trying to show occasionally where they differ from help to buy ISAs. Lifetime ISAs are ISAs which individual savings accounts which are tax-free savings. You can contribute £4,000 a year into a lifetime ISA, and you can do that as a lump sum. So when I say a year, it's each tax year, which runs from the 6th of April one year to the 5th of April the following year. So you could actually contribute a lump sum of £4,000 on the 6th of April, and that would count for your annual investment allowance. It does form part of your overall £20,000 investment that you can put into ISAs in one tax year, so that £4,000 will count as part of it. Now that's where it's more flexible than a help to buy ISA, where you can only put in basically £200 a month. So it's quite a lot better from that point of view. It's also better from the point of view that you can buy a house. If you're going to use it for a house purchase, you can buy a house up to £450,000 wherever that might be, whereas with a help to buy ISA, if you're outside London, the maximum you can buy and you get your bonus is £250,000. Now, another nice thing about the lifetime ISA is that you get your bonus of 25% on the amount you put in from the government straight away, basically, at the end of each month, which is pretty good. So if you put in your £4,000 on the 6th of April, the government will add 25% of that, in other words £1,000 a month later, so you'll end up with £5,000, and that can go ahead and carry on working with either get interest if you put it into a cash ISA, or it will help to grow your investments, hopefully, if it's gone into a stocks and shares ISA. Now, with a LISA, you can open one once you're 18, whereas with a help to buy ISA at 16. You can keep on contributing into that. Well, actually, you've got to open it between 18 and the age of 30. But you can keep on contributing to it until you are 50. So you could actually put in £4,000 a year from the age of 18 up to the age of 50, and get a £1,000 bonus from the government for each of those contributions. Now that's significantly more than you can do with help to buy ISA, where you can only get a maximum bonus of £3,000 over its whole lifetime from the government. Now, some of the not so nice things about a lifetime ISA: you can only use it to either buy your first home or for retirement, effectively, when you're 60. So you can withdraw the funds without penalty when you're 60. Saying you can only use it, not quite right. You can take money out before, but you're penalised. Now, this is the thing I really don't like about the LISA, although it's not necessarily something that should stop you using it. But I think there may be some sort of error in the drafting of the legislation initially here, but nevertheless they haven't changed it, so maybe it wasn't an error. But it doesn't seem right to me. Now, if you take money out of your LISA once you've put it in, not for the use of a house or when you get to 60, you'll be penalised 25%. Now, initially that seems fine because they've given you 25%, so they can take it back. Now, that would be absolutely fine in my mind, but it's actually 25% of the total amount. So if you put in £4,000, for example, well, let's say you've put in £8,000 to make the numbers a bit easier. So you've put in £4,000 in the first year, you've put in £4,000 in the second year, so you've got £8,000 in there, plus the two lots of £1,000 that the government will have added, i.e. the 25% bonus. So your £8,000 is now sitting there at £10,000, plus any interest or growth in investments. But let's say £10,000 is there. They will charge you a penalty of 25%. but that isn't £2,000. That's 25% of £10,000, which is £2,500. So in other words, for the £8,000 you've put in there, the government are going to penalise you an extra £500. So you'll only end up with, you'll have £7,500 to take out. In other words, so basically they're charging you 25% on the 25% that they've given you, and then taking back. So you lose out effectively by 6.25% of whatever you've put in. Now I can't quite see that that's reasonable. I can see it's reasonable that they take the bonus back, but why should you be penalised on money you've put in? I think that's unjust enrichment for the government, and I reckon if anyone took them to court, they probably would lose. But I don't know. I wouldn't want to do it. But that shouldn't stop you from doing it. But it is a nasty little penalty. The key, obviously, is to not take the money out and either use it for your first time house buy, or wait until you retire. Now, the other thing about lifetime ISAs is you can put the investment into a cash lifetime ISA, but the rates aren't that good. Skipton were the first one to bring them out. There are others now. They aren't quite the best, but they're pretty much round about the best. There's 1% if you've got your 1% interest if you put it into a cash ISA with Skipton. I think there is Newcastle. I think at the moment it's 1.1%, but it's much the same. Now, I think part of the reason for that is the government really are thinking they want you to be putting them into stocks and shares ISAs, which is fine if you're going to be using it for retirement. But if you're thinking that you might want to use your lifetime ISA to buy a house, that's more likely to be probably, we hope anyway, a shorter term investment, which doesn't really go along with putting money into stocks and shares. When you put money into stocks and shares, you normally think, well, you've got to look at it for the long term, sort of 10 years. But you'd like to hope that you might be able to use your lifetime ISA a bit before that. Although maybe that's unrealistic now. If you start when you're 18, maybe 28 is the time when you might be wanting to buy your house. But now the other thing is with a more flexible with a lifetime ISA is that you don't have to close your account and you don't have to use the whole funds. You don't have to with Help to Buy ISA, but you don't have to close the account and to get your bonus. You get your bonus immediately. You can use some of the money to use against your house. You can use, when you're 60, you can use some of it, take it out tax free. So you can keep the investment there. Okay, you can't contribute it further when you're 50, but you can leave it there to keep growing and just draw on it when you want to. Yeah, I think that's probably what's the other thing. Oh yes, the other important thing with a lifetime ISA is you have to have had it open for a year before you can use it to buy your first house. So you can't contribute on the 6th of April and then on the 30th of April get your bonus and use it for the house. You might get your bonus, but you won't. You have to pay it back if you haven't had it open for a year. I'm not entirely sure how that works, but you have to have had it open for a whole year before you can actually use and get a bonus to use against the purchase of a house. Now I think that's most of the basics about lifetime ISAs. So as I say, don't let that rant at the beginning about the charge just stop you from using it. But nevertheless, it's worth bearing in mind. You don't want to be doing it if you're thinking you might take it out for some other reason. Now, one other thing actually, thinking about retirement. If you were thinking you would like to do a lifetime ISA and you're thinking, I don't need it for a house, I'm going to do it for retirement, you might be better thinking for a pension scheme. Now, the downside of the pension scheme is you won't be able to take any money out before you reach the age of 55, which is actually better than the lifetime ISA. And also, if you take the money out of the lifetime ISA, you've got that charge, but once you've put it into the pension scheme, you are locked in there. But there's potential for better tax relief if you start getting into higher rate tax. Then you actually get quite a lot of tax relief on your pensions as the rules stand at the moment. You get the 25% of the money you put in, and you also get an extra 20% of the gross amount as a tax relief against your tax bill. So effectively you can put £10,000 in, and it will only cost you £6,000 if you're a higher rate taxpayer. That's a different video. I think I did do a video earlier on about that, so have a look back at that. Yeah, I think we'll leave it at that. There's quite a lot to take in. There's quite a lot of information on the internet on lifetime ISAs and Help to Buy ISAs. Martin Lewis on his Money Saving Expert website does a lot of detailed and very good analysis on Help to Buy ISAs and lifetime ISAs, so worth having a look at that. I'll see you again soon. Like and subscribe as usual, and thanks for listening. Bye.